Arya, let's not mess with the blinds the second I hit record. Arya. So I had a friend reach out to me on my like personal Instagram. I don't have that, like that's privated. Like I have my book Instagram, like y'all can follow me on there, but my personal one, like I keep like private. I literally never post on it, but that's besides the point. But I had one of my friends that I worked with at Disney. I've talked about that I did the Disney college program back when I was in college, and I had one of my friends on there reach out to me that I haven't talked to since I left, and she was like, hey, I just want to let you know that I found your YouTube channel. Like it popped up on her YouTube recommended page, and I guess at first she was like, is that her? And like wasn't quite sure, and then she saw this pillow in the background of one of my videos, which if you don't know who this is, I don't know where you've been. This is my favorite man, Adam Driver, and I have this lovely pillow of him on my bed, and as soon as she saw this pillow in the background, she was like, oh yeah, that's her. And this was my like signifier that this was me. So I think some of you on here, when I talk about how much I love Adam Driver, I think maybe some people might think that it's a shtick or something. It's clearly not. I was identified by this by my roommate from like 4 years ago. I've been on the Adam Driver train for years. I'm not exaggerating. So I just thought that was funny that she realized that like it was me by that pillow when she was like, I think that is. But anyways, I just thought that was funny. So Kayla, if you're watching this, hi. We got a fun video today. Because I feel like a lot of people are in slumps, and my number one thing to get out of a slump is to reread a book. But I think otherwise some people just need like a palate cleanser. They need something, no thought, no plot, just hot. And that's what this video is today. It's exactly what it sounds like. These books / novellas, quite a few of them are novellas, so they're quicker reads to get through. They don't require much brain power, so if you're like tired at the end of the day and you don't have like the brain power to sit through like a high fantasy book or even like a romance with like heavy plot in it, these are ones that you can just kind of like turn your mind off and just, you know, have some mindless fun. So again, like this is no shade to these books whatsoever when I'm saying like that they don't have plot, because to be honest, they just don't. These books, the plot is the spice. Like the spice is the plot. That is kind of all that it is. I have books, which I was actually thinking about this as I was like coming up with this list, because I have books that have like the same intensity of these ones, but they also have much higher levels of plot. And that's what I personally enjoy more. Like I like that even balance, but you know, sometimes you don't need that. So that's what these are. So I'm going to do no thought, no plot, just hot today. But if you guys want thought, plot, and hot, I can do that as well. Anyways, though, let's jump into the Recs for today. Starting off number one with just like one of the best examples I can think of when I'm talking no thought, no plot, just hot is The Boys Next Door by Miranda Silver. This book is just a fun hot time. So this one follows Diana, and she is just graduating high school and getting ready to like head off to college and stuff, but she's very shy. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She doesn't have a lot of experience. She doesn't talk to a lot of men, but she runs into her twin neighbors who are a little bit older than her. They're both in college already, Ian and Brendan, and they used to be friends when they were younger, but then as they grew up, they like grew apart, and then obviously Ian and Brendan went off to school and Diana was still at home going to high school. And Ian is like the bad twin, Brendan is like the good twin, and literally within the first chapter, things get rolling. Diana is attracted to them. They are attracted to her. And it's a like MFM situation. There is no like sword cross between the two guys because they're obviously like brothers. So there's nothing going on there. But Diana explores a relationship with the both of them. And it is 8 chapters. It's still like, it's the length of a full length novel. It is only 8 chapters, like the chapters are long, but it is 8 chapters of heat, like, and very minimal plot. One of my favorites on this list is The Dare by Harley LaRue. So this one was banned on Amazon, which I still can't fathom why. I did it for my Banned Forbidden Taboo Part 2 reading vlog, and I was like, literally, why is this banned? So I don't know if you can get on Amazon, but I know like even Barnes and Noble started like stocking it for a while, and you can get it on Eden Books. That's where I got it. So this one follows Manson and what is her name? Manson and Jessica, and it's a novella. However, Harley LaRue is expanding it to make it like a full-length novel, or like making a novel to tag on to this. I don't think it's like this retold into like a longer setting, but making a novel for it, and I'm so excited. So this one is takes place on Halloween night. It's just one night, And Jessica is like was the good girl. You know, she was like the cheerleader. They're all out of high school. They're all in college now, but like they're all back home in like their hometown for Halloween, having this Halloween party. So she very much cares what other people think of her and like about her image. And Manson was always like the weirdo kid that no one liked, like people kind of picked on, people kind of like avoided. And Jessica too was like rude as shit to him when they were younger. When she sees Manson at this party though, things have kind of changed a little bit for Jessica when she's looking at him, and they end up in this game of truth or dare that turns into this like whole night together where she basically has to do like whatever Manson says. And it is just a fun time. So good. Like the writing in this is just so good. I just love Harley LaRue. So anyways, fantastic. Next up is another novella, and I know this is like a prequel novella to a whole series. I've never read the whole series, and I don't honestly think I will. It's not on KU. The novella is free though, so you can like buy it for free on Kindle, or at least it used to be when I first read this. But that's Theirs for the Night by Katie Robert. So this one follows Meg, I think Meg, right? Theo and Galen. And Meg, I think she's fresh off a breakup at this point, and she's like trying to get her mojo back. So she goes out to the club with one of her friends one night, and she's like, and her friend is like encouraging her, like, you need to find someone, you need to do something outside of your comfort zone. And like a one night stand is totally outside of her comfort zone. But then when she's at the club, she spots Theo and Galen, like these two dudes hanging around together, and they spot her and they give her like the proposition, like, hey, you want to come spend a night with the two of us? And she takes him up on it. Thank you, Megan, for taking them up on it, taking us on this journey with you. Oh shoot, which one is the bodyguard and which one is the royalty? Shoot, I can't remember now. I think maybe Theo is the like prince, or he's like some sort of royalty member, and then Galen maybe is the bodyguard. One of the two. They each have one of those roles. I just can't remember which one is which, but they don't like really tell her that. I don't really get into that a lot. Like I obviously think you probably get into that more in the novel, but you do just know that they have that kind of dynamic going between the two of them, and they are also interested in each other. So it is MFM, but also MMF. It's a great one night stand between the three of them. Like, once again, thank you, Meg, for taking that ride for us all. Hello, how are you, Arya? Oh, you are so beautiful. Oh, you're gonna stand on Mom's notes? Next up is Sugar Daddies by Jade West. This one follows Katie, Carl, and Rick, and this one is an MMF kind of situation because Carl and Rick are a couple, and they are looking for, exactly like the title suggests, to be sugar daddies, kind of. But they also like end up roping in Katie, or not like roping her in, but Katie needs money, and they end up giving that to her in exchange for like being their sugar baby kind of situation. It does morph into more, but I don't really want to like give any of that stuff away. I would still say though that the plot, like there is a little bit more plot in this because it is like a full-length book, but really like the plot is a side character to the relationship between the three of them. Jade West writes some incredible spice. I don't necessarily love her books for like character development or plot, but for the purposes of this video, her writing is kind of perfect because the smut is like great in it. Next up, literally one of my favorites on this, probably besides The Dare, this one is my favorite on the list, and that is The Architect by Nikki Sloan. So this is the third book in the Nashville Neighbors series. You don't need to read the first two. They're like standalones. They just all take place within the same like neighborhood, like Nashville. And this one follows Lilith, Clay, and Travis. And Lilith and Clay are neighbors, and they end up like meeting by chance kind of with this like one little incident and whatever. Her interest is piqued by Clay and kind of like his lifestyle and the control he has in his life, and her interest is piqued enough, and Clay also looks at Lilith and is like, I think she could potentially work with me here. And so they end up going to a club one night that Clay is a member of a very high, prestigious, secretive club. They enter into like a dom sub kind of situation where Lilith is the sub and Clay is the dom. However, there's one caveat to this, is that Clay travels a lot for work, and he's like, I can't always be here for you to like fulfill this part of our relationship, because that's really all their relationship is. It's like, don't catch feelings. But since Clay travels so much, he's like, why don't I get someone to help us out? And they enlist Travis, who then is taking Clay's spot while he travels. So then Clay hops on like the camera from wherever destination he is, and he instructs Travis what he wants Travis to do to Lilith. I know, Dorian, it's wild stuff. It is so good. And the BDSM element in this one is a lot heavier, very large part of this whole relationship. But yeah. Okay, next is another novella, a really quick one, and this is called Their Stepsister by Alexa Riley. So what are their names? Sarah, Luke, and Logan. I couldn't really remember anything about this one, to be honest, until I like was flipping through my journal and saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, that would fit this perfectly, because literally it is solely focused on the relationship and like no outside plot. Arya, hush honey, hush. Kitties. Stop. What? You're not going in the closet right now. You don't need to go in there. There's nothing in there that a kitty needs. So I think Luke and Logan are twins, I want to say. And obviously Alexa is their younger stepsister. And I think even the novella maybe only takes place over a couple of nights or like a couple of days, and then it has like a flash forward. But again, there's no like crossing between the two brothers. It's just like their relationships with Sarah. And I feel like the title is kind of says it all, you know? And that's all you need to know kind of for this one. Same with this, really the title of this one is completely perfect, and that is Gifting Me to His Best Friend by Katie Robert. It's exactly what it sounds like. So this one follows Emma, Grayson, and Derek. And Emma and Grayson are married, and the three of them are they in like Colorado skiing or something? They're up in like the mountains somewhere around Christmas time, like skiing, just having like a nice cabin holiday. Emma has always had a crush on Derek, and Grayson is he like becomes aware of that. So on Christmas, he decides to give them what they want. And as we realize though, that Emma isn't the only one with feelings for Derek, and Derek doesn't only have feelings for Emma. So this is like an MFM and MMF situation. And even though Emma and Grayson are married, technically, yes, this is cheating, but like all three people are all like very involved and very aware and like agree to the whole situation. So even though they are married and like engaging with another person, everyone's cool with it. Everyone's having a fun time. So yeah. I mean, the title kind of, once again, says it all for this one. Next is another novella, and this one is just a couple. So if you think three is a crowd, this one's a good one for you, and this is Go Deep by Rilsey Adams, another novella. So this one follows Nevaeh and Xander, and it is friends to lovers, like just perfection, pretty much. And Nevaeh is a romance novelist, and she is just kind of striking out in certain scenes, like having inspiration for certain scenes in her writing. And even like her writers are like, you've lost this spark, it's dry, like they're just not feeling the passion that could be in her writing, you know? They're just not feeling it anymore. So she needs some inspiration, and she's like, I don't really like have time today. She doesn't want to. She doesn't really want to have to go through the whole process of finding someone. So who does she enlist but Xander, her best friend, to help give her some inspiration? It has, I would say, definitely more plot than either of these, but really the entire plot is like the two of them coming together and like deciding to take their relationship from strictly friends to this new kind of like romantic dynamic between them. These two characters just like were made for each other. You could just tell as you're reading. What, I got two left? Two. So next up is, we'll do the other couple one, and that is Daddy's Angel by K.A. Knight. So this one follows Lexi and Tyler, and it is, right, Tyler? Yep. And it is ex-boyfriend's dad. We love that trope here. I mean, I hear that trope and I read it. And so that is what this one is. So obviously it comes with an age gap and such. So Lexi and, I forgot what the son's name is, but they break up, and because she works at a club, she's a dancer. I don't think she's like ever stripping, but maybe she's more of like a go-go dancer, and he never approved of that. But she's like, I love it, I'm gonna keep doing it, whatever. So she does. They're broken up, and his dad ends up going to the club one night. Like, Tyler goes to the club, and I think he tries to maybe apologize to her or something, and they end up having a relationship. And this one is a full-length book. However, it is like every other chapter that these two are together. And it's quick from the beginning. Like, there's no kind of slow burn, no questioning of like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this because you dated my son. None of that. Tyler's like, my son who? Forget about him, and just goes all in with Lexi. When I say every other chapter, I mean like literally every other chapter. It's just packed full of no plot, no thought. But it's a fun time. Okay, and lastly is probably the newest release off of this list, and that is You're Mine Tonight by Lucia Franco. Y'all know anything that Lucia Franco writes, the spice is just going to be next level. But normally, like, her books still have like a lot of plot. Like, the Off Balance series is packed full of plot. But this one so far is not. It's definitely more of a novella length, and this one follows Roxy, and she is a plus size socialite. She was on a reality TV show. She's trying to be an actress, trying to like get more of a serious career established, but she still likes to party. And we open up with this one. She's out at a club one night with one of her best friends, and she is just having a fun time. She's indulging. There she meets Brody, this dude at the club, and they end up having a great night together, a great packed full night. The next morning she gets a call from her agent like when she's over at Brody's house, and is like, hey, I have an audition for you, you need to get there. So she immediately leaves Brody's place, goes to this audition, where there she meets River, and they also hit off. River is the actor that's like in this I think it's a movie. He's already like the lead, and they're looking for then like the other lead of the film. So she auditions with him. They kind of like hit it off once again, and they head back to his place for like a drink afterwards. There's some stuff. There's like a bit of a cliffhanger at the end, like a bit of a reveal at the end. So I'm not gonna like say that here, but I think we're headed towards love triangle territory with this. It is getting like a second part to it, but she has a great time with both Brody and River. So I'm interested to see where things go. Right, that's it for today for No Thought, No Plot, Just Hot. But like I said, if you guys want thought, plot, and hot, I'm down to do that. Because those are like my favorite book, because I want the spice to be immaculate, but I also need a great plot, and I need like good character development and such. And I have so many books where like I feel very strongly that even though they are high steam, they are still like genuinely plot driven, thought out books. Not saying that these aren't thought out. Like, again, I don't mean to throw any shade in this video towards any of these books, any of these authors who wrote them. Sometimes you just need something that's just like, you can kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy it. So anyways, I'm gonna stop talking myself into a hole. That's it for today, and I will see you when I see ya.